Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are watching the Paris Fintech Forum Communities video interview series. I'm Elliott Gotkine, and today I'm joined by the co-founder and CEO of Railsbank, Nigel Verdon. Great to have you with us.
A pleasure to be on the show again.
It's great to see you again. So look, before we get cracking, we are now going to learn a little bit more about Railsbank. Okay, so Nigel, tell us, what does Railsbank do?
So Railsbank is what we term as an embedded finance experience platform. And what we enable our customers to do is create financial experiences within their own customer experience for their consumers. And what's that? Why do we talk about their experiences? For example, consumers don't wake up in the morning and think, I'm going to go and buy a car loan. They think about buying a car, and that's what excites them, not the loan. It's just something that's of consequence that you do as part of the car buying process. So why can't you just embed the car loan as part of the car buying experience? And that's what we mean by an embedded finance experience. I think probably the most one that everybody will know but won't realize probably that it's an experience is Uber. And the experience of exiting the cab used to be quite stressful in the days of taxis. Did you have cash? Do you have enough cash? Does the taxi take credit cards? Does the taxi driver have change if you're paying cash? And you pay extra because you're paying a credit card fee. So, but today with Uber, all you do is open the door, get out, and go. And everything happens in the background. And that's a pure embedded finance experience. And you can use these experiences in many areas, not just in the fintech world, but for retailers, for transport, for sports fans. And so it opens up essentially to enable any company in the world to use finance as an engagement tool, a strategic relationship tool, and also revenue generation tool from their consumers.
Okay, so in February, I think it was, it was reported that you were raising $100 million led by FT Partners, something which would make you the UK's latest fintech unicorn. Can you tell us any more about this?
We are raising capital at the moment. I think that was leaked to the press before the event. And is a bit of a shock to us that somebody is speaking to the media about it. But yes, we are. We're working closely with FT Partners to raise capital. Managed was building out product, building out our team, and further strengthening our capabilities in the three regions we have, which is North America, UK and Europe, and an APAC. So it's expansion capital, essentially.
And as part of that expansion, I mean, of course, you famously bought Wirecard's UK business. Could more acquisitions be on the table with this funding?
Oh, certainly. We've got a framework for evaluating acquisitions in terms of do they help accelerate product development? Do they help give us access to new markets? Do they give us new customers? Do they get more capabilities? So we've got a very clear framework, and definitely we will be looking at acquisitions in the next 18, 24 months.
Okay, now in terms of valuation, as you said, it was reported that you're soon to surpass unicorn valuation. I think you've said in the past that you were almost unicorn valuation. What can you tell us more specifically about revenues, about growth, and Railsbank's path to profitability?
The revenues are good. We're growing. We grew well over about 150% last year, and we're targeting a growth of 100%+ this year. So that's showing a good quality growth. In terms of route to profitability, if you look at our three businesses, they're at different stages. UK and Europe is our most advanced, is where we started, and we have a route to profitability for that business and a very clear route to profitability for that business. The other ones are different stages, like seed stage and like Series A stage, where you're starting to get the product market fit in the local market. You've got customers, you've got revenues, which we have for both of those businesses. So they'll have a longer route to profitability by the nature of the earlier stage. So if you think of it as three different stages of business, all encapsulated under Railsbank as a business.
And as Railsbank as a business, it would be like a year away, 2 years away, 5 years away. What's your best guess?
Our best guess, our maths is showing we've got reached profitability in 2 to 3 years.
Okay. All right. So we've heard about Railsbank. Let's now get to know Nigel a little better. Okay, now Nigel, I remember when we had our last conversation, you told me that you fluffed your A levels because you were playing too much guitar and rugby, and so you took to the seas. And tell us more about that.
Yes, I initially started off as a professional sailor on a boat called the Providence, which is a replica of the first ship of the US Navy that actually engaged against the English. And there's a slight music thing there because the captain of the boat was called John Paul Jones, which is the same name as essentially the bassist of Led Zeppelin. But that was a boat.
But not the same person, just to be
Not
clear.
the same person. The 1660s or so compared to the 1960s, 1970s. And that boat was working up and down the east coast of America between Maine and South Carolina, touching on Florida. And so it was sail training. We took kids out to teach them. It was with permanent crew of 11 people, which I was one of the members of the permanent crew. And it was a massive experience. Really enjoyed it, and I saw sides of America I'd never seen before, like docking after 2 weeks at sea, and realizing you've docked in a dry town. So we had to get taxis to the next town to be able to have a quick beer.
And I remember you told me you actually experienced the perfect storm, the one that they made that terrible film about.
We were off the coast of New York, about 200 miles off the coast of New York, and the tailwinds of that we got caught up in. It was seas, about 30-foot tall seas. The boat was very robust. We had to get some sail down and just bear it out. Luckily, we had a very experienced crew on board. Myself, I've been sailing since I was about 3-4 years old. But unfortunately, at the same time, another boat that we knew very well, called the Pride of Baltimore, sank. It was a couple of 100 miles south of us, and that was a tragic event. But it really did demonstrate the power of nature. It's quite a frightening thing when you see nature in full force.
Right, and not to minimise obviously the tragedy that affected other people. I guess being in such an experience is a pretty good, not pretty good, but is an experience that one would imagine can help you when you're running a business and having to think on your feet and do all sorts of other things at the same time. But I mean, you came back on land eventually. You redid your A levels, went to university, became an investment banker. What made you kind of switch from what was presumably a very nice, well-paid job? I think you started at Goldman Sachs. Why take the leap to founding your own fintech to begin with?
No, I didn't start at Goldman. My buddy, when I started off in the motor industry, he joined Goldman Sachs, and he found me. I started off at Nomura, then Swiss Bank. I think it was because this thing called internet appeared in the 1990s, and while we were at Swiss Bank, there was a massive change in how capital markets worked, very much like the fintech wave that's been going on since 2011 or so in near term, and the real learning where there's massive opportunity by applying tech to things. So at Swiss Bank, we did the very first foreign exchange trade on the internet. We thought, hey, this internet thing could be very transformational for especially front offices of investment banks. So we built a business with two buddies from Goldman. One is an ex-buddy, unfortunately passed away. So, but and another buddy from ABN AMRO. And we had Goldman, we had UBS, or Swiss Bank, which now today UBS, and similar sort of ilk clients, helping them use and utilize a single internet for front office capabilities. For example, a thing we use today called Slack was we deployed that in so Swiss Bank and others to be able to engage either FX salespeople with the clients. and a salesperson, instead of having one phone, was able to actually service 3 or 4 clients or 5 clients with pricing, with content like research reports, etc., that are pushed down the chat channel. So it showed how technology can create better communication channels, distribution channels, etc. And then another customer, which is Marsh McLennan, which today is called Marsh, they also externalize their pricing tools to customers, so they could price insurance online. It's institutional side rather than retail. So it is a real eye opener of a new channel, being able to sort of increase your reach and put tools on your client's desktop without writing applications that went on a desktop, without having to support all that. So it's a real different model. There's a real learning time of huge amounts of innovation until we got to 2000, the year 2000, so the dot-com crash as well, and also Y2K. So we went through both of those and had to half the company literally in within a week because of you could see everything dried up after the dot-com crash. So because it impacted everybody investing in this internet technology. But as we can see, testament today, we're using the internet to talk and things. So if you play the long game, this whole new infrastructure has come to bear on everybody's lives. And you can see where the next future is looking at technologies like using the blockchain type technology and all the DeFi networks and everything being built around that. Could that be the future of capital markets? So we're looking quite closely at that, of how credit markets might work in a DeFi blockchain-based environment. So sort of learning from our past to look to the future.
No doubt regulators also looking to see what might happen as well. But look, Nigel, a key part of this interview is to get your take on the future of finance. But first, we are going to take a very quick break, after which we are going to continue our conversation with Railsbank co-founder and CEO, Nigel Verdon. Welcome back, and don't forget, if you're not already a full member of our community, everything you need to join can be found at www.parisfintechforum.com. Okay, so Nigel, let's now talk about the future of finance. I mean, you've already discussed this a little bit. Embedded finance being one of the, of course, has been one of the buzzwords of fintech these past couple of years. I mean, you mentioned Uber in a couple of examples, but these have kind of been with us for a while. So can you tell us what has embedded finance done for us lately, and what should we expect from it going forward?
Sure. Our observation is that the first wave of fintech is very much made digital transactions and better experience. So it's just a better banking app, and transactions were digitized and therefore were made much more usable, and content and metadata can be put around the sort of transaction. Where we see the financial markets, especially consumer finance, if we focus on that rather than capital markets, going is we have this saying internally that consumers will bank with the brands they love. And we did a lot of research on this, engaging in different cohorts and segments of people. And generally people under 40, all the way down to 18-year-olds, they are very much more open to using a non-bank brand to do banking. So that is where we've been positioning ourselves with embedded finance experiences, looking at it, it's outside fintech. It's looking at sports clubs. How can a sports club engage with their fans using embedded finance, and could they be the bank of their fans because there's massive loyalty in there? And if you look at, say, Manchester United, if you believe it says we have everything. There's 1.5 billion fans that they have, and outside of merchandising, outside of TV rights, outside of other just mainstream ways of engaging, how about if they engage with their consumer or their fan every day? And so if they made $1 every month out of those 1.5 billion fans, it's quite a significant revenue stream. That's at the absolute extreme. But you've also got people like AS Monaco have 2 million fans. You've got McLaren Racing has something like 5 million fans. And so we see the future of finance is a tool for generating engagement between a brand and a consumer, a tool for understanding more about the behaviors of that consumer. You can see where they spend, what they spend it on, where they spend it, all that sort of demographic piece. And you can use that data as well if you see them where they're spending within the, say, in stadium, if they come to the stadium, that all the big spenders come in the East Gate, for example. And so put the concession stands that target that particular demographic over there. So you've got all this very rich data, and you've got daily engagement as opposed to match day and snippets on videos, etc., of your consumer. And a good example, a real one of our clients, Sing Life in Singapore. Life insurance you buy, and next touch point is when you die, or your estate touches the insurance company. But insurance is a very parallel product to wealth, because it's all about future planning and wealth planning for as you progress in age. So if you start understanding more about the consumer, you can start putting adjacent products like wealth products into consumer. So how do you do that as a life insurance company? So the smart guys at Sing Life and ourselves work together to create a deposit-like account based on an insurance life policy that has liquidity, and so you can use it with a card, and ergo you can now see your consumer spending every day, engaging every day, and use that as an upsell capability and a profiling capability to see what other products they may want to buy of you. And so life insurance can go under wealth, and you'll see Prudential's starting to do that. They've got a wealth product alongside life, and MetLife has got that. So a lot of the large insurance companies are very much thinking that way. So we see the sort of future of consumer finance is sort of restructuring the industry, where the brand will own the consumer, because they've got also brands that have high NPS scores. Banks and most financial services have pretty much negative, very negative NPS scores. And so there's that people go where they like an environment. You also look at if you just digitize the bank branch and have a banking app, you get 0.2% of people's eyeball times, whereas engagement with brands or social media, etc., you've got 30 to 40% of the eyeball time. So why fight with a digital branch? So if you look and roll that forward, the banks then will still play a role, we believe, and very much be balance sheets and centre of capital. And that capital will be accessed and distributed through platforms like ourselves and embedded into an existing consumer experience like car buying. Auto One's done that. You can buy and finance the car in 40 seconds. You go down your local dealership, you can buy the car, but then you get all this paperwork to fill in to go to another finance house. Well, it shouldn't be that sort of that's so much friction in it. And you're also creating friction around something the consumer is not really excited about. They want to go drive their car. So that's where we see the future, and that's why we call it embedded finance experiences. And we look to see what experiences do what we call microeconomies, like fan bases, luxury retail shoppers, general retail shoppers, travelers, or what are they looking for from the retailer, from the sports club, and then how can we give the tools and the capabilities to our customers who are retail and sports, and also to traditional fintech to deliver those experiences to their consumers. So that's why we've expanded out into rewards as well, because the rewards are a vital piece. We've done foreign exchange, essentially foreign exchange between reward points and dollars or euros and sterling, so you can make those points useful. But also, if you look at the reward side, McLaren Formula One has a huge fan base, especially on esports, racing online. So if you can give reward points that are fungible into, say, spending on a McLaren card, or you can save reward points, and if you win, so McLaren can award you them if you win esports type events. And imagine if you get enough points, you then can race Lando Norris online as well. So all this sort of engagement is beyond wearing the McLaren hat where they make, say, $2 on it. It's a much deeper, richer way of engaging with your consumers, your fans, and the microeconomy that you actually service.
Okay, so I think we need to move on now to our next round, which is of rapid fire questions. Are you ready for these, Nigel?
Nearly, yes, of course I am. Yes.
Okay. So look, most successful fintechs we know are very well funded but are still losing money hand over fist. Is this fine, at least for now, or something we should worry about?
It's not most fintechs. Twitter took a fair few years to get profitable, so did Facebook. I think the issue of growth companies to become very much highly scaled businesses, you've got to underwrite the journey to get there.
Next question. What fintech segment besides yours has the biggest potential over the next 5 years?
Celsius in US.
Okay, this is a company, is it?
Yeah, Celsius, they're essentially a financing platform for crypto assets.
Okay. So, all right. What is the biggest pain point in your everyday financial life that you'd like to see resolved?
Biggest pain point is having to deal with call centers and some of the traditional banking, traditional banks. They don't understand me.
Okay. Are we at the beginning, middle, or end of the fintech wave?
We're right at the very beginning.
Do you have a metaverse strategy?
We do actually, because essentially e-racing, for example, is in the metaverse, and so yes, we do.
Okay. You're the first person I think so far that's said that. Do you think EU and US regulations today have adapted enough to handle the new possibilities and behaviours we're seeing in the financial industry? Just yes or no?
UK and Europe, yes. US is still 15 years behind, and I can't see any change happening in that anytime soon.
How would you describe NFTs? A scam, B, an interesting concept, or C, part of the future that you mustn't miss out on?
Part of the future. Because if you can fractionalize access and ownership, you then democratize access and ownership of real world assets, like art.
Have you ever invested in crypto?
Yes, I have, actually.
Okay. One famous member of the PayPal mafia is changing the car industry, wants to take us to Mars as well. Do you have any out of this world ambitions to kind of be the next Elon Musk?
Not to be the next Elon Musk, because he's already done it.
Okay. Are physical points of sales part of the future of finance?
I think Amazon had a great view on that, is eliminate the point of sale in Amazon Fresh, so checkout won't be part of the experience.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 the highest, how would you rate the chances that in the next 10 years, one of the neobanks will be as profitable as a top-tier legacy bank?
10.
CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, become a mainstream reality in the US or EU and not just in China?
8.
That you'll be able to open a crypto account at a top-tier bank in parallel or even instead of a classic cash account?
8.
That SWIFT will still be the main tool for transferring money around the world?
5.
That a new card or non-card based rival will emerge to challenge the likes of Visa, Mastercard or Amex?
10, but I got inside information.
And that we'll see a top-tier bank or insurer buy a fintech. Be bought, by a fintech.
10.
Okay. Well, look, I'm afraid time is already out. So I just really want to thank you, Railsbank co-founder and CEO Nigel Verdon, for joining me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity again, Elliott.
And for everyone watching, we will be back again next week with another big name from the world of finance and technology. We do hope you'll be able to join us again then. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Paris Fintech Forum YouTube channel and to follow us on Twitter at Paris Fin Forum. Hope to see you next time. Bye for now. Take care.